Alright, hello guys. So today I wanted to make a video on my 911. So this is a 997.1 Carrera S. Now I've owned 3 of these 911s from this generation. I've had a 997 Carrera in the convertible, and then I also had a 997 Carrera S with a coupe in the factory aero kit. I've also driven the 4S, the Targa, the regular 4, the turbo, even the GT3. So I know this generation pretty well. I've driven the 991s, the 992s. Personally, my favorite generation is this one, which is the 997.1. My absolute favorite is the 997.2. However, it is a lot more expensive. And is it that much better of a car? I don't necessarily think so. This one has about 385 horsepower and then about 390 pound-feet of torque. If you get a 997.2, it'll have 385, but it'll also cost you $60,000 to $70,000 instead of $40,000. And the performance is not really that much more. A lot of people say that, like, oh, well, it's a little bit more reliable, but you're spending so much more money that it would have been the same thing. If you had something major catastrophic go wrong with this vehicle, it would still be less than you buying a nice 997.2. The 991s, in my opinion, are a little too big. I personally don't like them. It's more of a GT car, but this is still like a 911. It still has about the size of the 911, but it is a lot smoother. Also, the 992s are just too big and too fat, and they're also $200,000. Again, they're a little bit faster, they're a lot cooler, but I personally just don't like that. I've had Mercedes, I've had Lamborghinis. Out of all the vehicles that I've owned, this has been my absolute favorite vehicle. What made me step away from the Mercedes is that they lose their value a lot, and I've never lost money on a 911 or a Porsche, to be in fact. And I've had 3 Macans, 3 911s, right? And they hold their value really well. Even I had one where the transmission blew up and it took 6 months to repair. I still made about $2,000 when I ended up selling that vehicle. I wanted to get a convertible now that the weather is going to get a little bit nicer, so I ended up getting a convertible S just to see what it's like, and then I'll probably sell it when the weather changes, and then we'll go ahead and buy a turbo. But I want to talk about this because, again, I bring a really unique perspective because I've driven everything and I've owned multiple of these vehicles, so I know kind of what to look out for. So one of the things that I look out for on these vehicles is to make sure that they're in good condition is the interior quality. A lot of the times these vehicles will have a lot of the buttons fading. As you can tell, this one is in fairly good condition. These buttons are usually the first ones to go out right here, and also the door handles end up being loose. Now this one has a really rare option where the cup holder works. That's just a joke. It's just on every 911 they're broken, so the fact that this is still working is a really good sign. And also the buttons here are not fading. Now if you get an S, you need to get one with Sport Chrono. If you get an S and it doesn't have Sport Chrono, you're gonna have a really hard time selling, because the type of person that buys an S is gonna want that. And you can usually tell that because it comes with the little clock right here, and then it'll also have the sport mode and the adaptive suspension. Okay, this one has also heated seats, which is nice for Utah. But if I'm being honest with you guys, I'm probably gonna take this vehicle to California and sell it there. And it also has the upgraded GT steering wheel, which tends to look a lot better than the older one that's rectangular. Another thing to look out for is on the bonnet. A lot of the times in the bonnet, a lot of the things will be missing. And then also you want to make sure that it's a real Carrera, because 911s look the same. So if this is S, it's definitely an S. And then you can also look at the engine, that it's a 3.8 instead of a 3.6. As far as maintenance is concerned, you just basically do oil changes and transmission fluid changes and stuff like that. Wearable items. Pretty reliable, honestly. And then you want to make sure that all this stuff is here. A lot of the times what will happen is they'll take it to a tire shop that's not a Porsche dealer, and they'll steal the wheel locks. So if you look at the keys here, they have like the wheel locks right here. And a lot of the times they'll just keep that or lose it or not put it back, and that's missing. So if you get a flat tire and you're on the side of the road, you're kind of screwed. So you always want to make sure that that's there. And if it has all this stuff here, that tends to mean that the vehicle is really well taken care of. I'm gonna go ahead and put the top down and talk a little bit about the interior. On the coupes, I like to get them with the club seats instead of the regular ones, which would be these regular ones right here. These ones are fairly comfortable, but figuring on the S's, the other ones are a little bit better. So I'm gonna turn the vehicle on, and they all start like that. It's one thing about 911s that I hate. They all sound like they're broken. So we're putting the top down. This one has 80,000 miles, no lights or anything like that. I'm gonna show you guys. Oh, that's just saying that I stopped doing the top. So now you guys can see what the vehicle looks like. See, and it just looks so good. And personally, I don't know what it is about this generation. I just absolutely love the way that it looks. And then you can also make the little spoiler go out. I'll show you guys. You just come over here and then you click on this button and it'll come out. However, to put it back in, you need to be driving about 60 miles per hour. That's what it looks like. And I'm gonna roll the windows up and we're gonna go ahead and take this out for a drive so you guys can see. I just love how comfortable this car is. You want to wait until everything gets fully warmed up, both the oil. So once it gets to 200 and the radiator gets to 175 before you start driving it in sport. That way it'll kind of make sure that the engine is well taken care of and you don't do any damage to it. Wow, there is a lot of Amazon trucks for no reason. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in sport so you guys can hear what the engine sounds like, and then we'll do a couple of pulls. For insurance, I don't really pay that much. I pay about $120, and that's for the Macan and the 911. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and do a pull so you guys can hear the engine. That's what it's nagging to me about. Making sure that the top is fully closed. And then this one does have the Gundo hack, so if you get a stock one, it is going to be a little bit more quieter. Do not do muffler deletes because it will have a lot of drone. I did it thinking that it wasn't going to have drone, and it totally does have drone, and it's really annoying, so don't do that. We're going to go ahead and do a pull under the bridge so you guys can really hear the engine and why I love 911s. They just handle so well. Like, I drove my Mercedes, and it was new at the time. It was a 2019 C63S, and I drove this, which is an 06, and this car handled so much better around the corners. God, how can you not love this car? Did you guys hear that? Oh my lord, I love this car. It is a little bit annoying on the street sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, especially on the stiff suspension settings. And then if you straight pipe the vehicle, it is so obnoxiously loud. Everyone will notice a long time before you get there that you're coming. And that's what made me get the Macan. I was driving it and it was just so loud and annoying that I said, I am not gonna go ahead and deal with this. I need a car that's a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more practical. I need to be an adult. It has back seats, but not really, you know. So this is just my fun little car, and then we use the Macan as a daily. And yeah, that's pretty much the vehicle. Let me know what you guys want to know, if you want to see any more videos on the car, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and talk more about my experience owning Porsches. If you want to see a video on the newer one or a 997.2, let me know. I have access to all the vehicles, so I can kind of show you. But that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy, and let me see what you guys want next.